Hey guys, what's happening? It's Elise Edwards, aka Elise Anmchara for Anmchara Astrology. Thank you so much for joining. This is a full moon report that I am doing right now for the Scorpio new moon that is happening right now. It was actually exact at, the full moon was exact at 6:45 a.m. this morning, Eastern Standard Time. And it happened at 17 degrees and some odd minutes of Taurus. So I'm going to go into the SABIAN symbols at some point. But all I'm saying is if you have been feeling intense or incredibly vexed, or if, the sun is nice out and you're feeling like you really want to, get down, enjoy the finer things in life, smell the flowers, and then emotionally you were feeling like really fixated on something, or there's like some sense of impending doom or something, feeling like it was like controlling you, or like your feelings were fixated on something from afar. That's what makes full moons really crazy, is that it's literally like the sun, like the life force energy, being at odds with the emotional vibration of the collective at the time. So full moons are fun, but this particular one I was really not into. I got up this morning, I went to see the full moon actually happened at exactly 6:45 this morning, and I found out that my building had actually locked my access to my roof, which has been my lifeline through this quarantine. And Taurus has to do with quality of life, has a lot of quality of life issues attached to it, and Scorpio has a lot of control issues and power issues attached to it. So I would say that I've had my quality of life stifled in a way that was done secretly, and in a way that I wasn't aware of until I was already affected by it. And it makes this Leo, fixed sign Leo, want to punch someone in the fucking face, and basically light everyone on fire. So hopefully I'll get past that. If not, stay tuned, and if you're a lawyer, DM me, because I might need to have you on retainer. But otherwise, I hope everyone is great. Some other things I just want to touch on is we are going to have a couple, we do have Pluto in retrograde right now. We are going to have, which is the ruler of Scorpio, and we are going to have Venus go retrograde next week, as well as, is it Saturn or Mars? I don't know, but last Venus retrograde for me was so insane. It did happen in 2018, and when I had elements of the Venus moving retrograde and touching my natal Pluto, it literally took the wool off my eyes over like some of the stuff that I had been trying to keep whole, things that I had valued and like worked really hard to keep in my life. Like all the illusions and everything and the destruction that it was causing me was like brought to light. So I'm not saying that that's gonna happen for you, but we are in Taurus season right now. Again, it's a Venus ruled sign. It does have to do with values and valuables, and the not just accumulation of them, but the appreciation of them, and what it is that you value. And when Venus is going to go retrograde, which is already slowing down, it's going to backtrack across the sky, and we're going to have a chance to revisit everything that we held dear in these past however many months. And so just like prepare for a time, like at least 6 weeks starting May 13th, May 12th, you may have already started to slow down on things, maybe some like relationships or, something that you were planning on doing to accumulate wealth or to like spruce up your life, either physically or energetically or emotionally. Okay, so just some things to expect is kind of like a slowdown or a halt of things that you held dear, or maybe were considering like putting more time and whatever into, we're gonna be having a chance to see what really makes us happy and how we want to relate to people and other people's values and our own values. We're gonna be talking a lot about it, and we're going to be reassessing it. So don't be too stuck on anything. Also, yeah, Venus in retrograde does have some of that, exes coming back into your life. Even like friend exes, I think. Anyone that like you considered or did something with like in a partnership, oh man, it's just going to be a lot. You're just going to be reassessing relationships and how you relate to things, including your own value systems, and maybe developing some new ones. So, and this Taurus, this Scorpio moon happening right now, full moon, is a full-blown release of whatever it is that we no longer fits in our value systems or does not bring us value anymore. And it doesn't bring us physical comfort or security. Like, it just comes to a crescendo today. It might be because you don't have access to it, like me and my fucking roof, which I better have access to shortly. Otherwise, like, there's gonna be a fucking coup in my courtyard right here. All right, it's gonna be a fucking mutiny. It's gonna be insane. Again, if you are a lawyer and you want to represent me, please slide into my DMs. Otherwise, I am going to go into the SABIAN symbols for this full moon. The full moon did happen today. It was Scorpio 17 in some odd degrees. So I'm going to read both Scorpio 17 as the karmic condition in which this full moon is happening, and then I'm going to move to Scorpio 18, which is the lesson that we are taking away from the moon. Okay, so Scorpio 17 is a woman filled with her own spirit is the father of her own child. What? Okay, a woman filled with her own spirit is the father of her own child. She radiates a sense of certainty and self-sufficiency about who she is. There is the feeling that she could accomplish almost anything, as she is filled with her own spirit. This symbol indicates the ability that one has to be able to cope with being on their own, looking after the details of life without another's help. The woman can look after the everyday needs of her own life along with those of her family. So I know. Thank you, Eric. I'm happy that you are laughing. So the oracle interpretation is this situation may reveal a sense or the reality that you need to be totally self-sufficient at the moment, regardless of those around you and their input into your life. Alternatively, there can be a feeling of having been left with the baby. It can indicate single parenthood or bringing up the young without outside help. Oh my God, this is fucking crazy because we just had a nodal shift, like the moon nodes just shift. And I'll talk about that in a second. It can indicate single parenthood or bringing up the young without outside help. This symbol can indicate the loss of the males in one's life, such as husband or father. However, it can also indicate feeling that one's life is full enough as it is and that the path ahead doesn't seem to include the desire or need to have children. Be aware or be wary of isolationist or prohibitive emotions. Is there a situation here where others are not being invited to share or be included in your life? How are you coping with the more complicated tasks and chores that you have to get on with in life? Try to remember to include others respectfully. Although you are all blessed with your own unique and individual qualities, it is often the combination of ourselves with others that help to create greater balance and depth in life. Confidence in the future and filling yourself up with your own spirit can lead to wonderful possibilities. Creative projects can be birthed more fully, which is very full moon situation, birthed more fully than one has. Creative projects can be birthed more fully when one has an infinite and total connection with what one wants to produce. So keywords: single parenthood, being proud of one's individuality, keeping capable or feeling capable of anything, spiritual experiences that fill one with one's own spirit, self-reliance, the lack of a father figure, in vitro fertilization, complications of adoption, self-sufficiency, facing the world, feeling whole, having the right to determine one's future, the story of the conception of Jesus. Okay, the caution is uncompromising feminism or chauvinism, feeling like one has to be responsible for everything, unrealistic independence, being left alone and abandoned, having no one to turn to for support, being an adult before one's time. Okay, the thing that I think is so interesting about this, about Scorpio 17 being the karmic condition, like the SABIAN symbol that is the karmic condition of this full moon, is that it's the first full moon that we've had since the moon nodes changed places from Cancer North Node into Gemini. So during the last 18 months, starting November 16th, and that just ended on May 4th, May 5th, that whole 18 months was about us learning how to be our own parent, okay? And like reprogramming the parent within, and learning how to take care of ourselves as the mother, like how to mother ourselves, and how to balance what it actually takes to feel emotionally secure and enriched against the career and like worldly elements of life that we have to account for that bring us physical security. So the past 18 months was like us balancing a need for emotional security against our jobs, against our outward, like our public status and stuff like that, and how we like learn to parent ourselves. And I've been talking a lot online about how this shift into Gemini North Node, Sagittarius South Node is like the student teacher dynamic. And so if you didn't in the last 18 months learn how to pack your own damn lunch and realize that you are the only person that is available to sign your own permission slip, like you're going to show up to the first day of school like, what the fuck happened? So it could be extremely confusing, but we are going to find out, and like after this like parenting reprogramming, we're now showing up to our first day of school, and we better be ready to learn and ready to ask questions. This next 18 months is about asking the questions and being like literal and straightforward and communicating, as opposed to relying on beliefs or philosophies or faith that something is the way it is, or that these truths are self-evident. Or being dogmatic about things. Instead, we're like, no, we actually need to have it written in, on a piece of paper and communicated to everyone, and everyone come to like we have to ask questions. We're kind of like writing, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I got like an image of like writing the new constitution. We have to like write a new constitution in terms of society in order for us to evolve. We can't rely on the ones that came before. So it's interesting, this being the first full moon, we might be having our first sensation of like what it is to show up to the first day of school since we became our own parents. And that image of being left with the baby is like actually you being left like with your own inner child and being like, oh shit, like I'm here. And like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, I'm waiting for instructions. But really, like, you're gonna have to find your own path. And today, not so great. We actually have like the emotional demands of life today, countering our need for a better life, our want for a better life, or what we think we've worked for and accumulated thus far. Like, today was a real challenge to that. Okay, so all right, so that was the karmic condition of what we of the moon that we're experiencing, but the actual lesson of it is Scorpio 18, and that is a quiet path through woods, brilliant in autumn coloring. It says a quiet path through woods, brilliant in autumn coloring. The quiet path is the path, the one that one should or perhaps must take in order to finish something or accomplish some mission. The autumn leaves are a symbol of change. The energy of the recent growth is returned to the earth in preparation for the next season. Oh my gosh, this is so Scorpio imagery, like the returning to the earth, like to die and to transform into something else and to be reborn. Scorpio rules sex, birth, death, regeneration, other people's property. Like it has a whole bunch of stuff. Sorry, my mom just texted me. Anyway, okay, so the autumn leaves are a symbol of change. The energy of the recent growth is returned to the earth in preparation for the next growing season. There is a feeling of transition as the leaves decay into the vegetation. Quiet walks can reconnect one with nature, which, by the way, go on a quiet walk. I had to do one of those today because I didn't have my roof accessible to me. I'm going to stop talking about that as much as I can. Okay. So the actual lesson of this full moon that we're under right now is, in the situation facing you, fruitful success is now behind you. It is the dramatic preparation for change that has resulted from the fruits of your labor that surround you now. It is now either at or just after harvest time, and everything is changing. Wow, there really was a harvest, like just recently, like today, kind of, or like yesterday. It says, take a deep breath and infuse yourself with nature's gifts. This symbol can also represent the opportunity to consider and reflect on the success of your recent activities. If there hasn't been enough success or productivity, there is nothing more that can be done for this time, as the season for harvest is now finished. Ooh. Whether your harvest has been successful or not, there will be many lessons and benefits from what has occurred. This symbol is about the opportunity and maybe even the need to take time to quietly appreciate this shift in energy. Again, nodal shift. The shift from taking care of yourself to like now going to school and like re-educating yourself, and how you communicate, and this is on a collective level, how everyone communicates and where we communicate and where we're allowed to travel to, because short distance travel is ruled by Gemini, the current North Node. So the keywords of this full moon are rewards of plenty, transformation through the different seasons of one's life, overcoming battles and disappointments, finding peace, layers and personality issues flaking off with maturity, God willing. Gardens, sometimes off the beaten path, taking time out to reflect on nature, the feeling of change in the air, mature and elegant responses, rich colors, memories and memoirs, taking life one day at a time, overcoming loss, through positive attitudes, warm responses, a calm knowingness, reverence, respect, having a been there, done that attitude. And the warnings of this, or the cautions of this full moon, is being too late for the harvest, concentrating on the past, being oblivious to nature's beauty, resisting the flow of the seasons, feeling that winter is upon you with no way out. Whoa. Feeling that winter is upon you with no way out. And issues of growing old, being alone in one's autumn years. So yeah, there can be a sense that perhaps we have not done enough work over these past 2 weeks since the new moon in Taurus. That makes us feel like, oh fuck, like I really did miss the harvesting season. Maybe I have been focused on the wrong things. Maybe I've been putting too much value on something, perhaps something of the past, perhaps relationships of the past, perhaps other things that Scorpio rules or has rulership over, such as other people's property, such as sex, such as control, like power struggles, when really what you needed to have your focus on are things that you actually have control over. So if you are resonating with some of these, oh shit, I didn't do enough during the harvest, and now I'm like sitting here with like some like half planted shit, and the time is done. Like it's over. It is about cutting your losses and like kind of reflecting on your process and allowing the things that are not going to fully develop, that you like kind of partially grew, to like let them die or let them go back into the ground and regenerate and become something else. Or, you know, you can be creative with it and you can pluck from what it is that has grown since you sowed those seeds 2 weeks ago, and you know, kind of try to reinvigorate or innovate it in some way. It's not going to be a harvest that's going to feed you. It's going to be one for you to learn from, you know? So again, intense letting go of something that no longer serves you, that is partially developed, that having around is causing you to be like, feel like death, like, you know, don't keep like the dead body, like don't keep dead bodies in your house, or where you are. I feel like this is also incredibly, it kind of feels weird because it feels like it's disconnected from Venus being in Gemini right now, because there's like not really a connection between Gemini and Scorpio, but the fact that Venus is retrograding, and this Sabian symbol is telling us that the actual lesson of this moon is either like having like a moment of pause and kind of like of taking pride and looking back on the hard work of these past 2 weeks, from and while, you know, the leaves and everything else like return to the ground and transform into something else for the next, you know, planting and then growing and then harvest season. Or this moment of pause where you're like, oh shit, I planted everything too late and I was focused on something else and I like didn't water it in time, and like now let's like get with the program for next season, and just like kind of letting those parts of you die. I do think there's an extreme amount of compassion for yourself that needs to happen in order for that to take place, so that you're not like depressed when the next planting season comes on. And let's be real, the next planting season in terms of the moon cycles is going to be the new moon in a couple weeks. So, you know, it's not like the end of the world, but you know, if you missed the boat on this one because you were fixated on the past, or you were fixated on, you know, controlling something that you have no business controlling or any way to control, or on, again, sex, death, taxes, inheritance, shared resources, someone else's resources, and you forgot to grow your own shit over these past 2 weeks, well then, just take a moment of pause, take a nice quiet walk in nature, and try to like let go of that feeling that you were left alone with the baby, i.e. your own inner child, and that got in the way of you planting or growing something that you would seek material benefit from having, you know. Again, we're in Taurus season. Scorpio's putting kind of like a microscope on / challenging our beliefs and our values and what we hold valuable and what we have. And it's all on the heels of Venus going retrograde in Gemini with the new moon node in Gemini. Oh man, God, we are going to have such a reassessment. It's going to be so reassessed. Like, you're really going to be reassessing not just how you communicate, who you communicate with, how you think, how you get from place to place, how far you can go. It even has like implications of like, oh man, what kind of technology you use to, and who, not just who you like speak to, but like everything. Like, we are going to be reprogramming our thoughts, our how we speak, who we speak to, how we absorb pleasure or, you know, What kind of communications give us like pleasure or fulfill us? Again, like I've been super off of my IG live game. I've not been talking a lot of astrology face to face outside of clients and some friends. Eric, I know we were having a nice little text situation. Yeah. So take a pause and release. Okay. Let things just like, oh, yay. Thanks, Alex. Just like take a pause. I've been vexed all day. I started like super pumped and then I got super aggro because I'm having something like a state of control literally take over or like shut down what I feel like I've worked for in terms of my quality of life.